closed forums, in Telegram channels, and on the dark web, the same story has been popping up more and more over the past 6 months. People are saying that in China, there are supposedly real content farms where powerful neural network clusters work around the clock, producing ultra-realistic videos. Not just the usual slop everyone's tired of, not regular porn, not fake fights, but actual snuff. Videos showing real violence, torture, and death. Only now it's not filmed with a camera. It's generated by artificial intelligence, completely synthetic production, almost indistinguishable from the real thing. Is that true? Or is it even worse? What do we actually know today? What's confirmed, and what's still just rumors? And how close are we already to these farms becoming a reality? This is Brain in Jar, or Brain Ninja if you prefer. Let's begin. First, we need to understand what we're even talking about. The classic snuff film is a myth. In the entire history of cinema and the internet, there has never been a single confirmed case of a commercial film where someone was actually killed specifically for the purpose of filming and selling it. Most of the snuff videos that used to circulate turned out to be either staged or real recordings of murders made for completely different reasons. If you're familiar with the iceberg of banned films, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the idea is still commercially profitable. The idea that someone might enjoy watching people being killed, and that they're willing to pay big money for it. Now imagine, instead of expensive filming, actors, the risk of getting caught, and all the ethical problems, you have a neural network that can create any kind of violence in just a few minutes. No victims, no evidence, no limits. That's exactly what the rumors about Chinese farms are talking about. China is currently the world leader in AI video generation. Models like Kling from Kuaishou and Cdance from ByteDance are already delivering quality in 2026 that seemed like science fiction just 2 years ago. Short clips, dialogue, camera movements, physics. Everything is becoming more and more realistic. Chinese companies are actively developing this technology, and regulating something that has already broken free is extremely difficult. At the same time, something else is happening on the dark web alongside the development of public models. According to studies published in 2024 to 2025, particularly from Anglia Ruskin University and WeProtect, there has been a sharp increase in demand for AI-generated material involving the sexual abuse of children on hidden forums. People aren't just downloading, they're actively learning, sharing prompts, fine-tuning models, and creating increasingly hardcore content. The shift from soft to hardcore is happening fast. Some participants are openly writing that they're waiting for AI to start making full videos instead of just pictures. These are real, documented discussions on actual dark web forums. On top of that, there are separate but very telling cases in the open internet. In 2025, YouTube removed a channel called Snuff Party. I won't say its real name, and don't Google it. The channel exclusively posted AI-generated videos of women being shot in the head. The quality was already good enough for the channel to gain almost 1,500 subscribers before the platform stepped in. And by the way, this wasn't a farm. It was just one person or a small group. But the very existence of such a channel shows that the technical capability is already here. Even earlier, there were cases where AI was used to create realistic images and short clips of torture, beheadings, and other forms of violence, often as threats or for intimidation. The technology is already being used not only for porn, but also for visualizing violence. With all this technical and commercial data, the question is no longer, is this possible? The question is, when and on what scale it will start happening? What if the old Red Room chat story also becomes reality? We're talking about an ultra-realistic AI character locked in a room, where sadistic users get unlimited prompt options for torture and suffering, with completely realistic victim reactions. This is either already happening in some form, or it will soon. Because all entertainment is becoming both more virtual and at the same time much more immersive and convincing. Of course, large state or semi-state snuff farms in China most likely don't exist. Chinese authorities keep a pretty tight grip on content that could undermine social stability or cause international scandal. Mass-producing videos of death for export simply isn't profitable for them. It's not profitable for any country. But here's what is quite possible and even likely. Small, well-protected clusters, possibly in gray zones or completely underground, may already exist or could appear in the next year or two. A few powerful servers with fine-tuned models running on a closed network. They generate content on demand. Specific scenarios, specific victims, by description or reference, a certain level of brutality. Clients pay in crypto. Distribution happens through dark web markets and closed channels. This doesn't require massive resources. It only requires good models, which we almost already have, and the desire to make money off the darkest demand that has always existed. By the way, the scariest question for me, what exactly are these models being trained on? What do you think? The second realistic theory is the distributed farm. Not one big factory, but hundreds and thousands of individuals around the world who use open models, including the same Chinese and American open source versions, fine-tune them for specific types of violence and sell the results. When I talk about China, I'm referring exclusively to the most advanced and powerful models. The customers and organizers could easily be in the US or Europe. For example, freelance boards for making AI porn are already a completely normal and well-established thing. The third theory concerns the future. By 2026 to 2027, video generation quality will reach a new level. Models will appear that can create long, coherent scenes with multiple characters, realistic blood and injury physics, and natural sounds. When that happens, the barrier to creating extreme content will drop to almost zero. Then even small groups will be able to produce material that previously required a full studio and actors. Instead of one iceberg of banned films and the now defunct Live Leak, we'll get hundreds of new icebergs with fully real films and even TikTok-style projects featuring violence and torture. And the demand for it isn't going anywhere. On the contrary, it will only grow as people get used to the idea that everything can be generated. The important point is this. Even if there are no large Chinese snuff farms today, that doesn't mean the problem is made up. The problem already exists, just in a different form. We're already seeing AI being used to create non-consensual porn, death threats, and images of real people in violent situations. We're seeing the growth of AI SNUFF on the dark web. We're seeing platforms struggling to keep up with removing such content. All of this is a precursor to what the rumors are talking about. The only difference is the scale and the level of realism. So what do we actually have today? There is no direct, irrefutable proof of the existence of industrial-scale AI snuff farms. No leaks, no arrests, no serious journalistic investigation that has confirmed it. Because hiding these things is also easier now than before. But videos will start leaking into public social networks once a critical mass accumulates. Just remember LiveLeak. Back in 2015, I used to see all kinds of shock content on Facebook and Instagram. Although I'm speaking theoretically right now, there are already plenty of indirect signs of an approaching storm. The growing quality of Chinese video models, documented demand on the dark web for increasingly extreme AI content, individual cases of AI videos with violence being published, those same leaks in Telegram, the lack of an effective ban on fine-tuning models for violent scenarios. Although, to be honest, I really wouldn't want the government to blindly step into this. Otherwise, we risk rolling back progress. This is enough to say. The technical and economic foundation is already in place. All that's left is time and desire. A twisted desire. We've reached a point where artificial intelligence can create any content, including things that previously required real crimes. And the demand for this content exists. The question isn't whether we'll stop the technology. We won't. The question is how society, platforms, and governments will respond to the fact that the line between fiction and possibility is slowly disappearing. What does this mean for the average person? For now, nothing. Most of us will never encounter this content directly. But indirectly, we're already living in a world where trust in any video is decreasing, where any image of violence can be generated, where real crimes and synthetic scenes are becoming harder and harder to tell apart. This isn't just changing the internet, it's changing our perception of reality. Is this topic interesting to you? If you have additional sources, forum screenshots, or information you're willing to share anonymously, write in the comments or in private messages. I'll keep following this topic. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.